I've always said prolonged starvation is amongst the most horrible things any living being can experience. These wretched creatures have forced me to remove living from such statements. Imagine the worst gnawing hunger you have ever experienced, the most all-consuming need to eat you can fathom. That experience overwhelms every moment of every day of a hollowed. Driven ceaselessly to glut itself on the sweetbreads of living creatures, a hollow stuffs its distended jaw at such a wanton pace I cannot help but wonder whether it expects to somehow cease its supernatural famishment if only it can consume enough flesh. My observations and experiences with these miserable dead suggest that will never be the case. Welcome to the world of extraordinary zoology, with your humble presenter, Professor Victor Pendrake. Sometimes those who die from prolonged starvation rise up again as hollowed, undead monstrosities driven by an all-consuming hunger for the organs of living creatures. Unwilling to accept death and unable to sate their terrible hunger, these wretched, shambling zombies wander the wilderness forever, searching in vain for a means to quell their unnatural and unending starvation, their skin hanging in tatters, and their most recent feasts oozing from the ragged holes in their flesh. Ancient Todoran folk tales describe the hollowed as men who slowly starved to death while wandering lost in the midst of the moors. To quell their hunger, some were said to murder their companions and consume their flesh, dooming them to rise again after death as hollowed. There must be a grain of truth to these legends, as hollowed are most prevalent in areas where there were once old Todor and its vassal state of Thuria. But cases of the dead rising as hollowed have occurred across Western Emerald. Despite Todoran folktales, there seems to be plenty of evidence that any sentient starving humanoid can degenerate into a hollow after death. Overwhelming hunger drives the hollow to constantly seek prey amongst the sentient and intelligent races of Western Emerald. Foregoing any other source of food, hollow feed exclusively on the organs of the living. They will attack dwarves, elves, trollkin, and orgrin as readily as they do humans. Hollow blindly wander about the wilderness in search of their next meal. They typically travel at night, preferring darkness to light. During the day, a hollow will crouch silently in the shadows, its head slowly swiveling to ensure it does not miss the passing of a potential feast. When a hollow catches sight of prey, its behavior undergoes a dramatic and disturbing shift. Instead of mindlessly wandering about, it will relentlessly track its prey, exhibiting enough cunning to keep hidden from sight. Rather than simply lurching towards the potential meal from the wilderness, the hollow will move ahead of it and lie inert. Waiting in plain sight, they will lash out at anyone foolish enough to investigate its corpse. Hollow attack with twisted claw-like hands. Strikes from a hollow eviscerate the wounded, crippling them with pangs of hunger. Drained of strength and speed, such victims become easy prey for the hollowed, which begin to rip away at organs with their bare hands and distended its jaw to swallow them whole. One after the next, the hollow consumes all the major organs of its victim, leaving a gutted-out corpse behind. Though a hollow becomes stronger and deadlier as it consumes more vital organs, said organs that it feasts upon will never be enough to satisfy its hunger. Rather than being properly digested, the consumed organs fester and rot, forcing the hollow to once again continuously feed. Disturbingly, unless a creature killed by a hollow is decapitated, it too will rise again as a hollowed itself within a few days, and seek to feed in the exact same fashion. Some of these freshly risen hollow follow in the wake of their progenitor and share in its kills like carrion crows. Given enough time, a group of hollow can number in the dozens, as newly created undead are drawn onward by the activity of the flock. They fall upon prey in a manner akin to a fiend frenzy, each struggling to devour the choicest organs of the slain.